everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something I'm really excited about. We are checking out an album by an artist named CMAT, and the album is called Euro Country. So I've known who CMAT is from a distance for a while now. I feel like I'd heard her name before, but I had never actually heard any of her music. And then a couple of weeks ago, I'm scrolling on TikTok, and I see that Olivia Rodrigo has done a cover of a song called When a Good Man Cries for BBC. And that cover is so good. If you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. But I remember seeing the cover and thinking to myself, oh man, I wish Olivia made music like this. And then I was like, hold on, this is a cover. Someone else makes music like this. I should just go check it out. And in the comments of that TikTok, someone else had recommended like 3 or 4 other songs by CMAT to check out, especially if you're someone who didn't know her music. And so I ended up listening to When a Good Man Cries, Lord Let That Tesla Crash, Iceberg, and Stay for Something Good, and I Want to Be a Cowboy Baby. And I love those songs so much, and I immediately knew I have to go through her whole discography. I do. At the very least, I have to check out the latest album, because the music was phenomenal. It was unlike anything I'd ever heard. The songwriting was terrific. Lord Let That Tesla Crash has had such a chokehold on me these past few days. I feel like I've played it like 50 times. Now, just last week, we checked out Olivia Rodrigo's new album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. If you haven't seen that reaction, definitely go check it out. But since we did that last week, it felt only fitting to follow that up with what I'm sure is going to be another masterpiece by a similar artist, in my opinion. CMAT. Alright, I have no idea what to expect, so let's just get into it with the first song, track 1, which is called Byrne from Ballybrack, the leader of the Pigeon Convoy. I know that components of this album are incredibly Irish, and I don't know enough about Ireland, so a lot of this I'm sure is going to be a little bit difficult, but I'm going to do my best to sort of talk about what I know about and then learn a little bit more from what we get from CMAT. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into track 1. It's nice. A little bit of ocean. I'm going to let this flow into the next track just in case, because it seems like it's going to transition. Oh, it does flow. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Ooh. This is Irish, yeah? Ooh, that was pretty.
Yeah.
Threw a yeah in there? I like it. Awesome.
I lost a little weight, yeah, and gained it back when I missed him.
So this is kind of like the real intro, I suppose. No idea who that is. No idea who that is either. Is this he like an actual person, or is it about Ireland? Because she keeps saying my Euro country. Huh. Oh, the production is picking up. Wave of mass father suicide? Huh. Okay, I need to like look up what this is about. There's clearly like crazy history here that I need to know about. I want to know who that he is. Is that Ireland? People typically refer to their countries with a feminine pronoun. Woo! Okay. I love the production. But I feel woefully misinformed on what this is about. Uneducated. Okay, so that was both track 1 and track 2. Track 1 was super short, and it seemed to be more of like an atmospheric intro than a more lyrical intro. You could hear the ocean kind of moving, and you could hear someone calling out in the background and talking, and so I think that served a pretty interesting purpose. You don't see artists do that very often, where the first track is meant to be like a palate cleanser with like no concrete like musical elements really, but it's transitioning into the real first song. So I thought that was really interesting as a decision, and I don't know that I understand what the title is. You know what I mean? So I think that's something I'm gonna have to look up later. But I do think that starting the album that way is an interesting concept. I did let it transition into track 2, which is Your Country, which it did phenomenally. It was great. I love the production on that song. That song too, I think, had some history that I needed to sort of read up on. I wrote some notes down on it. It seems like it's kind of about the 2008 crash and what that was like from CMAT's perspective, which is a pretty serious topic, which is great to hear. Great. I feel like my brain immediately is having me go compare her to Hozier, which doesn't really feel fair because they're both Irish. But also, one of the things I love about Hozier's music is that he does employ so much history and culture into his music, and it seems like CMAT plans to do the same, especially since track 2 is what I'm assuming is going to be like the informal track 1, the informal intro or thesis statement to the actual album itself. So it seems like, I'm assuming history is going, and Irish culture as well, is going to be a pretty big thread in this album. I did have some other questions as well while listening to the song. She's singing on the chorus, you know, my Euro country, I do all he asks. Everything that I thought I could be, he cuts it in half. I wonder then, who is the he in that case? You know, is the he, I don't think the he is Ireland, because most people refer to land with a feminine pronoun. I think maybe it could be the Times themselves? Or is it her father? Yeah, I don't really know. But I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I'm going to have to look this up later, I think. For me to actually finish this video, I'll go on the rabbit hole search later. But this is very interesting. I'm very intrigued. All right, let's move on to the next track, which is track 3, When a Good Man Cries. This is the song that started this whole journey for me. It's the Olivia Rodrigo cover that pulled me in. I love this song. I have been listening to it over and over and over and over and over again for the past couple of weeks. I love this song. I'll admit, I have not read the lyrics even once. So I don't actually know what the song is about. I don't know why this good man is crying. I don't know why he's good. I don't know why she cares that he's crying. So yeah, now I get to actually read the lyrics and listen to it with you guys. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. Immediately. I love this song so much. It is so good. And I don't know if that means if I should be listening to country music then, because this is country, you know? I wonder if she submitted this to like the country Grammys or like Grammy Awards. I feel like she could have got something without even listening to the album. I feel feel like this song could have got something. These are so many names that I don't know. Who's Dorian Gray? I feel cultureless. I feel so uncultured listening to this. But I'm loving the music though. Dunboyne is like a place in Ireland where she's from, right? What do you do when a good man cries? And you're the one to keep him up at night. I will say, I like, this isn't a case where the cover did out the original song, because I love this. She's like, her delivery is perfect. And this part's like so gospel-y, I love it. Oh, it's so good. I love that this is almost like, this is the prayer she's talking about in the song, you know? She's like, look, I'll wear the beads, I'll do it all, just help me be better. God tier bridge. God tier bridge. This is so good. Her vocal production is so good. I heard about what that ad-lib is. We'll talk about it later, but I know what she's saying there. Am I a real fan? Is that what that means? Can I call myself a real CMAT fan? I love that song. Oh, the ending of that song is so cathartic. It feels like you're just like releasing so much energy, just like, just letting it all go. And I assume that's the purpose, because the end of it is like, that bridge is sort of about singing to something above you and saying, look, I'll put in the work, but I just want to be better, you know? It's like a prayer. It's so, and I love that it's gospel-y for that reason. All right, but yeah, that was track 3, When a Good Man Cries. Incredibly, like, therapeutic song. It's a song about wanting to better yourself, about redemption, about reflecting on who you are and who you want to be. And, you know, in CMAT's case, that's her helping me, you know, wanting to not hate herself so much, wanting her to love other people, be kinder to herself and to other people, and basically saying, like, look, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll wear the beads. I'll be curious. And I love that her vocal production, first of all, is fantastic. The harmonies are amazing. That like choir quality that she has with her voice is fantastic. I love that it's so gospel-y. That's just so well done. I love how country, like full country, this actually is. I'm really enjoying that. I don't really listen to a lot of country, and so getting to hear this was really cool. I will say there's that one ad-lib in the final chorus that knowing about that makes me feel like a real fan. Before I ever saw the cover of When a Good Man Cries, a video on CMAT's TikTok actually popped up on my feed, and it was like people yelling at it from the crowd going, "Yup, CMAT," which I'm learning is like an Irish thing. I didn't know that. But that's when she explains, and she's like, hey, there's this ad-lib that I'm doing in a song called When a Good Man Cries, and a lot of people don't know what I'm saying. And it's me referencing a meme, an Irish meme that I saw of when Ariana Grande was in a store, and when she was leaving, a couple of Irish guys went, "Yup, Ariana!" And so in the song, for some reason, God knows why, she used it as an ad-lib. It was like, "Yup, Ariana!" Which I thought when I first heard this song, I forgot about that video that I'd seen. Even though I saw that video before hearing about this song, I forgot about that. But I thought, when I first heard that, I thought she was saying "nobody ever." And I was like, I have no idea how that links to the actual lyrics, but it sounds amazing. So who gives a shit, you know? Anyways, random story. That's the only reason I really knew who CMAT was when I saw this Olivia Rodrigo cover go viral. Because I was like, oh, that's the whole yup Ariana girl. That's the yup CMAT girl, you know? But yeah, I think this is one of those cases where I'm really glad that I did end up listening to the original version of the song. Sometimes you hear a cover and then you hear the original song and you're like, well, it turns out I like this song because of the person singing it, and that's why I like it. But I knew when I heard Olivia sing this, I was like, there's just this quality to it. I feel like it was like the melody of the chorus was so unlike anything I've heard. I was like, you know what? Whoever's originally singing this, they've got to be good. I'm sure I'm going to love the original version. And I do. I love Olivia. I love her voice. I have not gone back once to that cover because this song on its own is so fantastic. It's so good. Olivia killed it too. But CMAT, oh my god, CMAT's voice is so rich, so emotional. I love her delivery. And like, again, it's just like the gospel-y choiryness of it. I just love so much. So this is one of those rare cases in my opinion, where I end up loving the original more than I love the cover. Fantastic song. Nothing more to say on that. All right, let's get to the next track, which is track 4, and it's called The Jamie Oliver Petrol Station. I do know who Jamie Oliver is. He's a very famous, very good cook. He's a celebrity chef. My mother watches his cooking show all the time, like even the old ones from when he was like super, super, super young. So Jamie Oliver is always on the big screen in my house and my parents' house. So I'm very well familiar with who Jamie Oliver is. I don't know anything about his petrol stations. So this might be another case where I don't have enough information going in. But again, I've said this before. I stand by not doing research beforehand because an important part of the listening experience is going into it as someone who doesn't know anything, because then it shows how you're able to connect with the music without having to have some sort of preconceived notion about it. So yeah, let's get into track 4, The Jamie Oliver Petrol Station.
I was at the Jamie Oliver petrol station. I need a deli, but God, I hate him. That man should not have his face on post.
Oh my god, she has beef with Jamie Oliver?
Angry aside at most home. But then I think of the New York sky.
Oh, I love this melody.
The West Cork of the Yankee Island. Then get to thinking I have been wrong though. Let me explain, 'cause I'm never wrong though. Things are ugly to me, I get it. A flip phone with a lack of
Is this tying back to like her childhood?
beautiful, I remember. Blinds right at the end of December. So, okay, don't be a bitch. The mind's got kids and they wouldn't like this. I'm saying, okay.
Does he know about this song? Has Jamie Oliver heard Jamie Oliver Petrol Station?
They wouldn't like this.
Ooh, this is not, man.
No sense to the average listener.
That's me. She's talking about me.
Let me try to
I'm the average listener. Awesome.
I make up places like Singles, Tennessee. I mishmash of what should and shouldn't be. The smoking area consequences. She's really mental, it's not.
I don't think that really explained it.
There's always something I'm missing out on. Overdosing on social alcohol. All the eager to make
Great writing though,
with so malevolent nights.
even though I don't understand it.
You like forgetting when they'll start breathing. Cobbler my mantra is like, okay, don't be a bitch. The man's got kids and they wouldn't like
I love that she has like audience play while she's singing. This probably like
the man's got
translates really well to a live situation, which I know she's been performing at like Glastonbury recently.
explaining myself very well at all.
I totally agree, because I don't get it. Sounds great.
I'm saying, okay, don't be a bitch. The man's got kids and they wouldn't like this. I'm saying,
Yeah. Love that delivery. Oh, it's almost like punk leaning. Oh my god. Holy sustain. Oh, I forgot what that's called, but I know what that's called. Oh, wow. Her voice. Oh, that was cool. The slide. She sounds like an instrument. Wow. Oh, and we're just back to normal. Okay. Wow. Wow. All right, that was Jamie Oliver Petrol Station. So, okay. Again, this was a confusing song. But in this case, it seems like it was supposed to be confusing for the average listener. And I'm really glad that CMAT says that. Because, again, I don't think it's something to denigrate someone for when they go into an album not knowing what it's already about. And that's something that's happened to me, okay? Which is why I keep bringing it up. But anyways, I'm really glad she said that. Because when I was listening to the song, I was like, okay, I don't really know what her beef with Jamie Oliver is. And then it kind of seemed like she didn't actually have beef with Jamie Oliver. It seems like she was angry about other things. She talked a little bit about her upbringing, talking about, cell phones with not enough credits on them. So I assume, like, coming from, like, lower income background and basically being more upset at the times than being upset with Jamie Oliver. It didn't seem like Jamie Oliver had actually done anything, saying, like, the man should not have his face on posters. I feel so angry and sad. But then also, like, I shouldn't say that. He's got kids. So it's clearly she had some remorse about it. She's angry about other things. And then when it comes to the story behind it, when it comes to that, I don't really know what this was about. But I think also that was kind of on purpose too. Because throughout it, she would sing, hey, like, I'm not explaining myself really well. The average listener wouldn't really understand this. And then she's like, let me try explaining it. And then she did that, and I was like, I still have no idea what the hell this is talking about. And then the second verse, she was like, well, I don't think I explained it very well. So it was very meta, which was interesting. So this is, in this case, it does feel intentional that this is very Irish. This is very British, considering I'm pretty sure Jamie Oliver is British. It's very specific to that geographical area. And so for that reason, I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing that I don't understand it, because that was kind of the point. It's just that it did keep me from being able to enjoy the song as much. So I think that this similar to track 2, is something I'm going to have to dig into a little bit more and learn about a little bit more. And then maybe I'll get to then say that I understand what she's talking about and I'm not an average listener anymore. That would be nice. So that's a graduation that I have to work on. But until then, this song was cool sounding. I loved the bridge. The bridge was insane. Her voice is incredible. Oh my god, I did not know. I kind of knew she was going to have a good voice, but like, she had that growl almost. It was very, like, punk at times. It was very technically proficient. It was incredible. What a voice. She was, like, belting up there, sustaining. It was so good. So good. And then she just, like, went back to it like it was nothing. So that was crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I was really impressed with the song in terms of, like, the individual components. Like, the production was really cool. Her voice was really cool. And I feel like that even though I didn't understand it, the writing was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. She writes like no one else I've ever heard. But altogether, I just couldn't connect to it because I didn't know what I was talking about, So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to get back to this one. All right. You'll notice the lighting is a little bit different from when you just saw me, and that's because I'm moving out of my apartment, and I had to let someone in and help them move a dresser that I was selling to them. So, yeah, the lighting is a little bit different. It's a lot more harsh. Jesus Christ. We're just going to have to deal with that. Sorry about that. It is what it is. All right. We're going to move into the next track, which is track 5, and it's called Six Foive. It's basically 365, but I assume in an Irish accent. And I say that because, this makes sense. This is fitting, because I feel like when I first was listening to a lot of CMAT songs, like Lord Let That Tesla Crash, for example, I really had to, like, really focus in to know what the hell she was actually saying, because the accent is thick. But so I think it's cool that she made a song that sounds like it's being said with an Irish accent. I think that's really interesting. Oh, also, I'm really sorry about my voice and the constant sniffling. I'm a little bit sick as well. I've got a lot going on today. If that's not clear, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. But anyways, let's get into track 5, which is 365. Sorry, I should stop saying it like that. 365. However, 365. This is 365, guys. 365. Ooh. That like little glittery synth is cool.
Another good idea. I saved the messages you sent the night you tried to sleep with her. Happy New Year.
Oh, whoa.
Lord, I forgot what day it was. Love and use a fog that wouldn't clear. But let me get defrost. Let me get to thinking I could go to Vienna and take to the drink and I could raise a beer to the man who was embarrassed by me.
Aw.
When the clock struck 12. There's only 365 days a year, and I don't want you here back.
Very country breakup song.
Wait, let me itch my red back and save it. I have no grace. I haven't found it on my way to dance.
Very like self-deprecative, despite the fact that this is her like recovering from a relationship. See, like, damn, the self-esteem, the self-love needs to be there. I love that melody. It's nice. Oh, that was cool. The slowdown. Woo! That's cool. Whoa. She's so eccentric. I love her. Wow. She reminded me a little bit of a Chaperone. I think the part of her image too, but like, I think I'm intrigued in the same way by her music. Oh, this is so catchy and so sad. That is quite the insult. A walking waste of time. Abrupt end. Alright, that was 365. This is pretty interesting. This is very like... This song, I mean, it seems it's about recovering from a breakup and kind of telling someone that, like, I don't want you in my life anymore. It seems like it's someone who cheated on her. Yikes. But it tread this very careful, like, balance between being like, you're a really shitty person, while also kind of being mean to herself a little bit. I hesitate to call it self-aware because it's like, it's stuff that I don't know is true. So she's talking about how she doesn't have any grace, and I don't think I'm your equal, but I'm trying to be, and like, it's clear that whoever this was definitely contributed to making her smaller and really ruining her self-esteem. And it goes a lot back to When a Good Man Cries. Was it When a Good Man Cries? Yeah, it was When a Good Man Cries. Where in the bridge, she's talking about wanting to be better, and she's like, help me not hate myself. And I'm seeing that here. I'm definitely seeing that here. And it's interesting, I also saw the help me love other people part when she was talking about Jamie Oliver and wanting to like be nicer to him and kind of being mean to him in that way too. But yeah, so this ties really well back to When a Good Man Cries, of her being like, you know, I want to be kinder to myself. Help me hate myself. Help me not hate myself. Because here she's being quite mean to herself. It is really interesting. I think this was a little because of that nature, because of the fact that she's talking about someone who cheated on her and not wanting to be around them, and also talking about really self-deprecating things. If you compare that to like the sound of the song, it doesn't match super well. It's very happy sad, which is always an interesting formula to use, because like you couldn't help but be like, oh, that's so sad the way she talks about her, and then be like 3, 6, 5 days a year. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting to combine those sounds together. But I did really like it. It was a very catchy country tune, and the writing was really interesting as well. Yeah, great song. But yeah, let's move on to the next track, which is track 6, and it's called Take a Sexy Picture of Me. Ooh. I'm excited. Like, is this going to be like a flirty thing? Take a sexy picture of me, you know what I mean? I feel like Tayo Cruz has a song by the same name. And if you don't know who Tayo Cruz is, I'm way older than you, is what that probably means. But he had that really viral song, Dynamite. I shouldn't be talking about Tayo Cruz while I'm listening to CMAT. They have absolutely no crossover as artists. So I'm just going to get into the song now. This is track 6, Take a Sexy Picture of Me. Ooh. The effect on her voice is weird. I like it.
Ever since I was a little girl,
Oh.
I only wanted to be sexy. 9 years old, trying to wax my legs with tape.
Yikes, that sounds like it would hurt. And that's so sad. A 9-year-old already being aware of beauty standards?
A little spot that can't be lifted on my left hand, digging like a car key. So you see, I've been having a horrible time lately. Not sympathy, but all of the pain hits in the 5 minutes, and then it's too much for therapy.
Damn.
Oh baby, heed my solution and take a sexy picture.
So this isn't the flirty song that I thought it was gonna be. This is more about like misogyny and beauty standards.
Listen, I did the butcher, I did the baker, I did the home and the family maker, I did schoolgirl fantasy.
Foreplay.
I did leg things and hand stuff and single woman banter. Now tell you what was
Like her pursuit to get someone to like love her.
and then it's too much for therapy.
I love that her melodies constantly change. She doesn't repeat the same melody over and over again. Even in the same verse and chorus, it really meanders in a beautiful way.
And make me look 15. Peel through the forums, and there's no cure for old sis.
Ooh.
Here's a message to the party girl.
Being old isn't a disease. I feel so bad for her.
If you need me, deep in your afters, I've been hiding. Horrible time of late to get nada. Sympathy, but all of the pain hits. Take a sexy picture of me. And make me look
Oh God, she's going down. Oh God.
or like 10, or like 5, or like 2, like a baby. Whoever it is that you're gonna love, so you be nice to me.
Wow. Oh, that end was especially depressing. Damn. Okay. All right. So that was track 6, Take a Sexy Picture of Me. And by the title, I thought it was going to be some flirty song, and boy, was I wrong. Oh my God. That was more of a song about like misogyny and ageism, and how like I guess especially when you're on the internet, for women especially, people are very unforgiving of age, which is such a stupid thing. Like that's so stupid, and I can't imagine how painful that is. To like be on the internet and have people constantly commenting on your body and constantly like denigrating you for that and bringing you down when the focus should be on the art that you're producing and the music. It is wonderful to see that she sort of turned that kind of struggle into a great song, but a great piece of art. But like the fact that like the way she was describing it, even from a young age, trying to use tape to wax her legs, that is crazy. from the age of 9? That's so young to have that in your head of like, I should be different, I should change in this way, I should, I should be ripping the hair off of my legs. Jesus Christ. It means that effectively as a child, she was still surrounded by that kind of feedback. And then like, I think she's like 28 now, having to be like, just, what, like, just like, make me look however young it takes for you to actually like be kind to me. Which is such a depressing thing to have to say. Age is such an irrelevant factor. Art is supposed to be about the art, not about like, how many wrinkles the other person has. So I loved the song. I think it sounded really great. I think, lyrically it was beautiful. Voice, she sounded amazing, but very, very sad song as well. And a very honest look at like what life is like for women in the public eye. I mean, something that I think about a lot right now is what Ariana Grande's like, going through. She's on her tour right now, which was fantastic. I saw her opening concert. It was fantastic, beautiful piece of art. It's like watching a whole movie or a Broadway play. It's so well done. And yet, every single comment that I've seen about at least when the tour first started, every single comment that I saw was just, oh, she's so skinny, and oh, how is she gonna be able to tour like this, and oh, it's just about her body. And then those same people try to make you believe that they're doing it out of care for her, when it's not even for a second. Because if you truly cared about a person, you would think, even if this person is skinny, what is going to be the impact of me tweeting at them or, commenting on their posts or making viral videos about them looking skinny? Is that going to help? No. Hyperfixating on someone's body is going to do it's the opposite of caring. It's turning their body into an object. It's another form of objectification. Objectification. Sorry, my brain's not working. So every time I see this, where someone's like on social media commenting on another person's body and then being like, oh, but we're just concerned for her. What if she's sick? Okay, what the hell is you posting about it on the internet for other people to also comment on going to do? Let's say she was sick. Let's say she does have anorexia or this or that. What the hell? Like, what do you think you're doing? You're making it worse. If there's something going on here, which is none of your fucking business, you would be making it worse. And it's those same people who 2 seconds later will be like, yeah, she looks like a skeleton. She looks disgusting. She looks this. And then it's like, yeah, see, clearly you have hate inside of you. You have darkness inside of you. You are a bad person. You are not looking out for anyone. You are trying to make yourself feel better. So anyways, every time I see someone comment on someone else's image, it's so clear that that person has darkness inside of them and sadness inside of them. And the only way that they can think to make themselves feel better is to direct it at someone else. And it's just so disgusting. And so, great song, really catchy song, really, really sad song too. And I guess it continues the theme of like happy, sad, of balancing those two things of like, slightly more upbeat versus like the lyrics kind of being depressing. But yeah, it makes me very sad. It also makes me very happy that I'm not a famous person and I never will be, because the people in my life are very kind to me and don't make comments about my body. So I'm very lucky in that regard. Most of us are very lucky in that regard. But yeah, don't comment on other people's bodies. That shit is awful, and it's none of your business. It's none of your business. You're not doing it out of care for the other person. You're a terrible person, is really what the answer is there. All right. Anyways, rant over. Let's go to track 7, which is called Ready.
I got feeling too good and waiting for adventure, so I stayed inside so long, waved my life so long. Oh, now I take a break up over daytime television. I did everything I quit, that's to me. I took all of the self-love on board. Have been here before, so afraid to fall.
Is this like a kind of about her career?
But now I'm ready, 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 ready for anything.
Kind of hyping herself up. That's good.
Now I'm ready, 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 ready for anything. What do I do now? I gone way past missing at all I lost. I regret it. It's gone now. Forget it. Ready for anything.
I love the backing vocals. Sorry, I haven't been saying anything. I'm trying to like focus in on what this is about. It sounds like it's about like sheltering yourself because of what other people say, and then realizing that you're like missing out on life, which is very real. I love that she does that. Her ad-libs are always so fun. It's her like yelling it out of excitement. Ooh, very different delivery.
And now I'm ready, 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 ready for anything. Ready for anything.
I think this song's a little bit too repetitive for me. And the melody's not interesting enough for that repetition to like work for me, you know? It's a cute song, you know? Pretty harmony at the end. Okay, nice. Finished strong. All right, so that was Ready. It's a little bit more like lower profile. I didn't love this song. I didn't really connect with it, to be honest. I just think, especially compared to the songs that she's already got on here, it's a little bit underwhelming. I'd say that it seems like it's a song about like kind of sheltering yourself because of what people say and like being afraid, and then realizing you're kind of missing out on life and regretting it a little bit. And so this is her kind of hyping herself and being like, now I'm ready for anything. Now I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna like really, you know, I'm gonna live life full. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think lyrically it wasn't super interesting. I think production-wise it wasn't super interesting. Vocally it wasn't super interesting. All in all, I didn't really find this to be thrilling really in any way. This one was not necessarily for me, I'd say. But all right, let's move to the next song. The next song is track 8, and it's called Iceberg. So yeah, I mentioned this is one of the songs that I checked out based on what was recommended on TikTok. I don't remember like really being thrilled by this song of all the songs I listened to, but also I didn't really like listen to the lyrics very hard. So it'll be nice to give this like a second chance to breathe a little bit. So let's get into track 8, which is called Iceberg.
Cheap cabinet kissing your teeth like a bad lip stain. Like the freebie shit inside Teen Girl magazines. Remember sending out pictures in hoping they'd print them out. They wouldn't show our faces much like you right now. Where'd you go, crazy girl?
Ooh, is CMAT queer? Is she singing about a woman in it?
Where'd you go? Are you still lost? Nice words, good times, iceberg tonight. I see it hurts. I see.
Yeah, that chorus is a little bit underwhelming too. Kind of similar to Ready. Didn't do anything
I
for me.
really think Rose could have made room on that floating door.
I don't know if that's true, really. I don't know.
You just agree. I swear that you wouldn't have before. You used to wanna pick fights and scream about any old thing. And now you're drowning just like Jack did. Where'd you go? Is it too much? Whoa, the world has us both crushed. Nice words, good times, iceberg tonight.
This is okay too. It's like I think it's similar to Ready, and that this is a little bit slower. And there's nothing super ear-catching about this. Also, I don't really know fully what she means by iceberg. Because typically iceberg means there's something under the surface, right? But I don't really know how that fits the context. I mean, as usual, her vocal production's really good. Good use of harmonies. Alright, little cute fade out. Okay. Alright, so that was Iceberg. And similar to Ready, I don't think I really connected with it. And in this case, I don't really know what she was fully singing about. It seems like she was singing about a woman, someone who previously she had a romantic relationship with, because she was talking about kissing their teeth. So I assume that, or she had some sort of relationship with them, right? Beyond that, I felt like the delivery was really sluggish. Da 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 da. It's like so simple and basic, you know what I mean? And especially if you compare it to that to like the kind of formulas that she's had on a song, for example, like When a Good Man Cries. She's musically capable of something so much more interesting, and so for me, this one was kind of like, it was, you know. Yeah, it didn't really do anything for me, unfortunately, this one. But, you know, it's possible that I'm just not understanding the story behind this one enough. Because, to be honest, I didn't fully understand the use of, like, the Titanic references. You know, when she's saying iceberg, when she's talking about how Rose could have made room on that floating door, etc., I still don't fully know what she's referring to there. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a little bit more vague, this one. And it's the same thing with the other song, honestly, too. It's like, they're both a little bit too vague for me to be like, yeah, I know what this is about. And so that beyond, like, that makes it hard to connect with this song unless the production and the sound and the vocals are so strong that, like, you don't need to necessarily connect with the lyrics. And I don't think that was the case, because this was also very, like, mellow, very, like, tame. So yeah, I think these past two songs have not necessarily been for me. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that means that we'll sort of see an incline in a second. But yeah, let's move on to the next song, which is track 9, which is Coronation St. The lighting's getting a little bit better. Before, it looked like I had the gates of heaven behind me, so that was rough. I think it's also interesting that I think she references Coronation St in the next song, Lord Let That Tesla Crash.
Holy smoker, I'm such a joker. Spent all my money on things that keep me tied and give me bingo wings that cannot fly but keep me up all night. What's another Dorito to those whose life just hasn't started yet? I'm 20.
Well, I thought she was 28. Is she referencing a memory, maybe? I like the production on this one. It's mellow, but it's nice. Interesting, you know? Slow doesn't have to be boring. And this is nice. This is good. This is interesting.
I'm too tired to make my dinner and I think I'm too tired to fall asleep. I think my boyfriend hates me, and if I'm being honest, that's not deep. I don't really care about him. I can't care about anyone but me. There's a missing part inside it.
Interesting. This is cool. It's almost like her train of thought. You know? The production almost disappeared for a second. Wow. My thoughts, she said, not my time. The lyrics are wrong. No, Spotify. I love her vocal delivery. pretty voice. That falsetto is so nice. This is cool. It's almost like a picture out of that time. Because I don't think she's 23 anymore. But this feels like very much her reflection on being that time and what her thinking was like. Ooh, beautiful. Alright, so that was track 9, which is Coronation St. Now, from my understanding, Coronation St. is a British soap opera, and the reason I know that is because I've heard Lord Let That Tesla Crash, which is the next song, and in it, she's talking about watching Coronation St. with the ghost of her friend who had passed away, which is a line. That is depressing. But yeah, I really liked the lyric, I'm just a barmaid with no lines who lives on Coronation St. because it's like, basically she's kind of saying that she, like, isn't experiencing anything. It goes a little bit back to the song Ready, but it's like a step backwards because it's her talking about how, like, she feels like she's not really living, she's not really experiencing anything. She's like a background extra in her own life rather than being the main character that she should be, which I think is really interesting. I think this is an exact example, especially in comparison to the past two songs, of like, you can have a slower song and a simpler song and have it still be interesting and relatable and something that you can connect to. And that is the case with this song, despite the fact that this was a little bit more mid-tempo, and a little bit more simple, and it wasn't too complicated of a song. She wasn't doing riffs and runs. She wasn't like, the production wasn't crazy. It was a simple song, but the lyrics felt a lot more easy to connect to. They're a lot more earnest. I believe it a little bit more. The past two songs kind of just felt like they dragged their feet a little bit, if that makes sense. They were very mellow, very, like, the lyrics weren't anything special. It was, I'm ready, I'm ready. Like, that was kind of it. So, here's the thing. If that's your favorite song, I'm so sorry that I'm hating on it like this. I just didn't really love them. And I think that those two songs, especially back to back, I'm like, what are those doing here? Surrounded by other songs that are better. But anyways, I really liked Coronation St. I think it's very real. I think that it's a very simple song, but she's commenting on something that a lot of people probably feel. The fact that they're not living their lives to their fullest, the fact that it seems like everybody else is living this rich life, and she's kind of just like, I'm just a background extra. I'm a barmaid with no lines who lives on Coronation St. I think, yeah. It also sort of means that she doesn't have a voice too, which is cool. I think this is, like, the metaphor that's used here is really, really interesting. I really like this. All right, let's go to track 10, which is called Lord Let That Tesla Crash. And I remember hearing the title of the song being like, oh, this is going to be like a song about the environment or something. Holy crap. This song is phenomenal, but it's so sad. It's so well written. My God. This is the song, I'd say, that really convinced me that I needed to check out CMAT, because it is so beautifully and tragically written. It's phenomenal. Oh my God, I just don't even know how to describe it. I think we just get into it. Let's just listen to it. This is a song that I know all the lyrics to. I know this song word for word by heart. I sing this in the car all the time. I love this song. It's so tragic, so beautiful. It's also got this, like, weird humor to it, where she's like, I heard it wrong. I thought they were saying the death's in the trees, and that makes sense, because they're so, like, dramatic. Like, who thinks of that, Especially in a song about mourning a dead person. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I love how, like, the writing just, like, continues and continues. It's like one long sentence. Her voice here is so, like, classic sounding. Like, timeless.
Let's go back to the dark.
Yeah, like this lyric is like so, I don't know. It's so interesting that this is such a beautiful song about grief, and yet the verses themselves are not about it at all.
And you wear too much foundation, figured out when you died that you liked me for
Like comparing herself to the person's dog that bit a bunch of ladies, like, I don't know, there's just something about the song and the way it's written. It says something really beautiful about grief, you know?
I don't miss you like I should, but I
Oh my god, this part made me sad, so sad.
cannot if you think this song is good.
That's so depressing, that's so sad. You're like, I don't miss you, but I still like reach for you and for your opinion. Like you're still here, even though you're not. I can see everything she's talking about, you know? Even though I don't know that song by Culture Club, even though I haven't been in this bar where they're dancing, it's like I can see this playing around in my, I can play it, like playing back in my head like a memory, like I was there. Almost feeling the emotions that she's describing. Oh, and this final chorus is just like destructive. It's so tragic. And it's so interesting. She's directing all her anger and grief about this person at literally anything else that she can. Like, she's angry about the Tesla. She's angry about not being able to talk to them about songs. Anything but their death. Alright, that was track 10, Lord Let That Tesla Crash, and that is currently my favorite song, I think, by CMAT. I think that it does a great job of commenting on just what a strange experience grief can be, you know? I mean, of course, everybody goes through grief a little bit differently, but it's just such an honest look at the way that she kind of went through it, and how strange that can feel sometimes. How it's like, she feels that she should, feel differently about it. She keeps saying, I don't miss you like I should. I should be missing you. But instead she's angry, and she describes how that anger comes out. Where she saw a Tesla on the street, and that person didn't like Teslas, and that's, instead of feeling grief, she's directing her energy in a different way. She's just getting angry. She's angry about the fact that she just so badly wants to hear what they think of the song that she wrote, and she can't because they didn't believe in heaven, which means she'll never get to see them again, and she's angry about that. She's angry that she gossiped. She's angry about herself. She's like angry that she gossiped about them, and she's like, I'm sorry I bitched behind your back, and I'm angered about that fact. That's one thing. And then you have the first two verses where there's a little bit more like humor to it, and sort of like reacting to the grief with humor, talking about that silly phrase that she'd misheard about death being in the trees, which doesn't really make sense, but she's like, it kind of makes sense because trees are dramatic as fuck. And it's like, you wouldn't think this is a song about a funeral or like someone dying. And then in the second verse being like, let's go back to that fuck-ass dog of yours. I thought when I heard that, I was like, that's so funny and so like vulnerable that she's sharing exactly how she experiences her grief, sort of talking about the dog and then relating that to the funeral and being like, now I understand why you loved us both. It's because, me and that dog were so similar. We were kind of played the same role in your life, and then there's like little bits of honesty that sort of glimmer through that comedy, where she's talking about the dog and how, the person who died and that dog were so codependent. But then also she's like, there's that little glimpse that comes out of it where at the end of talking about the dog and all the similarities she has with the dog, where like we're loud and young and damaged and annoying, but she's like, but also if you didn't care for us, then who would? And it's that rare moment of like, part of the reason I miss you is because you cared for me when no one did. And then so when you have that verse and chorus, then you get to the third verse. And that's where the honesty starts to come back in. That's where the comedy has subsided. That's where the anger is going down a little bit. And now it's honesty. And she gets into talking about the bar. And she's like, I had no one. I felt kind of silly. I didn't feel loved. And then you came in. And then talking about how that person loved her when no one else would and understood her, pulled out that song that she'd been talking about, danced with her in the bar even though it felt a little bit strange. And then that third verse where then suddenly she has all that honesty and she's like, I don't miss you because I can't. I can't think too much about this. I have to distract myself with humor. I have to distract myself with that fuck-ass dog of yours. I have to distract myself with anger. I have to, because otherwise I'll go crazy. It's like such an honest look about like what grief is like, you know? And then she kind of comes to a point where she's okay with it. Where she's like, at the end of it, she's like, I don't miss you, but you know, I shouldn't, because you're still with me. I still feel you here. I watch that show we used to watch through ghosts of you, you know? And so it's like this weird non-linearity for grief, this journey that she kind of goes through of how she navigates it, how she experiences it, and how she copes with it, you know, of grief and anger and humor, and then the real earnest vulnerability that's bubbling up underneath that, and then acceptance of being like, you know, you're still here, you're still with me. God, let that Tesla crash. You know what I mean? It's almost like a loop. It kind of goes back to itself of like being angry about the Tesla. I feel like essays and books could be written about this song. It's such a well done, beautiful song. It just describes grief in like a show not tell kind of way. You know, I've heard all sorts of beautiful quotes about grief. There's one from like that Marvel show, WandaVision. That's one of my favorite quotes about grief. So where, you know, they say, "What is love? What is grief if not love persevering?" There's ways you can tell it. In this song, she's showing it, and it's one of those like a picture's worth a thousand words, because she paints these experiences in your head, and it says so much more than a simple quote or lyric could. I don't know if any of this of what I'm saying is making sense, but I just like. I have never heard a piece of art that describes grief so beautifully, so vulnerably, so accurately, in such a real, transparent way. I think this is just such a beautiful song. It's such a well-written song. It is the best written song I've heard all year. It's such a beautiful, beautiful song. It's my favorite song of CMAT's. It likely always will be. But it's just something I connect with really, really deeply. I think her delivery on this is fantastic. Vocally, she sounds beautiful. She like that thing I was talking about, where she goes from like anger and humor to real vulnerability. You hear it. You can hear it in her voice, because when she gets to that third verse, some of the instruments come away, and it's kind of her. And then when you get back to that final chorus, there's like this cry in her voice, like she's finally like grieving. She's not like. She's not really in falsetto anymore. She's almost like full belting. She's full chest belt. And you can hear her like crying out. And that's how you know it. Those are her real feelings coming out. I don't miss you because I can't. If I think too much about you, I'll go mad. I don't miss you, but then I shouldn't. You know, like it's those real feelings bursting out of her when the humor has subsided, and when the anger has subsided. So yeah, this is a beautiful, darkly funny, vulnerable, honest, beautiful song. I could talk about this song forever. This entire video will end up being more than an hour, I'm sure, and that entire hour could be about this song. I just love this song so much. All right, let's get into track 11, which is called Running/Planning, and I think this was the lead single. I think this was. I don't know. Let's get into it. I'm liking the production already. Damn. Ooh, this writing. Hold on. Wow. I don't know what that means in the context of what she was saying in the first verse. Oh, I love that. I love this vocal effect. Bravo. Yeah, I don't know what the running planning part means, but that I'm still stuck on that first verse and how like biting it was and how like how beautifully she described the betrayal she feels about the person who changed and became a worse person. Wow. Her voice. Oh. It's so interesting. I love the verses and the bridge, but this chorus. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe I'm speaking too soon because I do kind of like it now. I love that she's like going higher and higher. That's kind of cool. All right, that was running and planning. This was a really interesting song that I don't necessarily know how I feel about quite yet. That first verse was scathing. Holy crap, her describing this person that she knew, that she once knew, that she feels like she doesn't anymore, someone who changed a lot. And the way she's like, you're not really a man, you're just like a vision that I had. You're not even a real person. You know, I invented you. And it's this idea of like, when you make someone so amazing in your head that the person that they truly are, the person that they truly become, pales in comparison. That's kind of what she's. And then the way that she like takes you into a window in time to what she used to be like as a kid, some hopeful child sitting in the bedroom playing guitar, praying to God for a friend, getting this guy, and then that guy evolving and turning into something just so much worse. Something that just wasn't even, like the fact that she's like, you're not even a real person, you're a vision. And the reason she's saying that is because that person sucks so much, she's like, I don't need you in my life, I'm just going to think about that person that I created. Like she's replaced the actual person with the figment that she made, you know, which really speaks to how terrible that person was. So yeah, there's that, and then I thought that the bridge was really beautifully written. I thought the melody was really interesting. I think the chorus was starting to get kind of slow, but then she did that thing that she's done in previous songs too, where when she gets to the final chorus, she builds it up in the way that she's delivering it. She does this in Lord Let That Tesla Crash, and she also does it in When a Good Man Cries, where like she goes up in the octave, she starts singing it differently, she starts projecting more emotion into it. So I think once that came in, I really, really loved it. But beyond that, I don't know that what it means when she's saying I keep on running planning. I don't know what that means. Like what is she referring to? I don't know. So yeah, this might be a case where I need the comments to help a little bit because I don't understand what she's talking about here. But I loved the song sonically, and I loved her voice, and I loved some of the lyrics, but I didn't fully connect to this one. All right, let's get into the final track. It is that time. It is track 12, and it's called Janis Joplining. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. Let's just get into it. This is a little bit jazzy, no? And it's kind of slow, so this will be interesting. I think this will let the lyrics breathe really well.
I'm a writer. I don't do crushing.
What did I say, huh?
I do problematic attentions. We've been over it myself.
It's very like jazz club speaking over a rhythm.
But I was in the garden and I was in my mind. I was thinking about all the bad things that I've done every day since I was 5.
Oh, that's real.
I've been thinking about boys again. I've been thinking about girls. And I've been blaming it on anyone that isn't me. But then I know that it won't work. 'Cause all I want
reminds me of Lady Gaga for some reason. I have no idea why. It's that jazzy sound that Lady Gaga does really well. Does that mean like burning out and burning fast? Is that what that is? Wow. Oh, that's so sad. I feel like I haven't said anything. I'm just soaking it in. Kind of a slow fade out end to the album. Interesting. I like that it wrapped back to the beginning of like, I'll make us country way, a country anyway, talking about you're a country again. And then it ends on like voices in the back the same way it started. Good framing on this album, really good framing. Yeah, that was a song about kind of self-destruction and being like, and kind of crooning to someone else and being like, I want you here with me, not to touch me, but just to talk to me and pretend like you care about me, pretend like I'm your wife. Which is a really sad thing to say, but it's clear that she was going through a really rough time, and sort of talking about like she feels like she's burning out, so she's like, you know what, I'm gonna Janis Joplin it, I'm gonna burn bright and burn fast. You know, life is short, so I'm just gonna like, you know, I'm gonna make this ending work. If my life's gonna end soon, I'm gonna make it work, which is a really sad way to look at life, but yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest here. I have to go pick up my sister from the airport. So I'm not gonna have the time to fully say what I think now. So I'm going right after this. I'm gonna put in a video of me talking about the album and what I think about it. And hopefully by then the lighting will be better, and hopefully by then my voice will be better, and I won't be as sick, and I won't have as many things going on, considering I had to interrupt this video to move a dresser and then pick up my sister and answer a bunch of texts too. I was constantly on my phone. Yeah, so when I have more time, when I'm more focused, I'm gonna put something here so I can react, you know, so I can tell you guys what I think. Hey everyone, it's been about a week since I recorded the reaction that you're watching. Since then, I've like moved out of my apartment and into my parents' place, and that's why the scenery has changed, right? I'm still adjusting to the move, so videos will probably be a little bit on the jankier side as I kind of get adjusted and stuff, and you know, I haven't figured out when to record so I don't bother the other people in my family. I'm in a household of 6, so it's kind of hard to do. But yeah, bear with me for the next few weeks as I sort of like figure my setup out and, you know, try to get a handle on how I do this thing. But anyways, back to CMAT. When it comes to the album, there were a few things that came across pretty immediately for me that I wanted to talk about. First of all, she has an incredibly unique writing style on this album. You know, I felt like she described the settings in a way that kind of imbues something simple like a place or a relationship with a lot of like added history and context. You know, it was incredibly meta at times, like you're tapping in directly to how she's processing an experience in the moment. You know, one thing that comes to mind is Jamie Oliver Petrol Station, right? Where she's describing an experience in a way that only she really understands, and then is commenting on that fact that, hey, like, if there's like the average listener out there, they're probably not going to get what this means. There's that. There were just like a lot of ways that she would. Another example is, I think it was 365, where she's talking about what this other person had meant to her, and rather than just being like, hey, we grew up together and now he's different, which some writers would do, I'm sure, she describes the fact that the version of her who fell in love with him was the versions of her in elementary school, sitting in her room, playing the guitar and praying for a friend. That's who he...
and that friend is who he used to be, and now he's something completely different. It's just like, the relationship itself, theoretically, it should be simple to organize. But in this case, she adds these memories that you get to sit in and almost experience, and it gives you a richer understanding of why that means so much. So it really enhances the experience of listening to the song. I also really loved her use of meandering melodies. In most songs, the melody through a verse or a chorus for her, it doesn't necessarily stay the same, but she has it evolving and moving with the song, which makes the song feel a little bit more like a story melodically as well as lyrically. And then when the melody did stay the same, like, for example, on Lord Let That Tesla Crash, it cycles in a way that makes it clear that the lyrics form a train of thought. You know what I mean? Like, each line kind of leads into the next line. Like, she finishes a thought, adds a little bit, and then that second part like finishes in the next line, and it continues to kind of cascade down like a waterfall. It's really, really interesting the way she's done it. She has a brilliant voice, which is improved by the fantastic vocal production. Her stacked harmonies very often sounded like a full-on gospel choir, making her voice, in my opinion, a little bit more emotionally impactful. And a great example of that would be When a Good Man Cries. In the two bridges that we get, it's that backing vocals that really makes her voice kind of seem grand, like this whole force behind her. And the fact that it's very gospel-y is even more important, because in it she's kind of talking about spirituality and religion and praying that she'll be able to love herself more and love the people around her more and be kinder. She's able to sort of get those needs across in a way that sort of conveys that spirituality. It's that huge mass of like voices behind her. It's incredible. I also keep coming back to how she balances humor and like positivity with devastation at the same time. I mean, she even does this in the song titles, where the song titles will be kind of deceptive at times. They'll sound humorous or like they're about a different topic, and then you actually listen to the lyrics and she's singing about like the 2008 crash, the fathers killing themselves. She's singing about being torn apart online for how she looks and wishing she was younger. She sings about how she's thinking about all the worst things she's done since she was like 5, and yet the production will still kind of make you feel like dancing or moving a little bit. She's incredibly good at cutting the negativity with positivity. There's like that, there's that like Mary Poppins quote, right? A teaspoon of sugar helps the medicine go down. She's able to employ that really, really well, because I think without that, if you actually listen to the substance of her music, it would get kind of emotionally exhausting. And we've listened to albums that are like that on this channel. One that comes to mind for me is Older by Lizzie McAlpine. You know what I mean? It's very serious topics, and the production matches that. So it kind of bogs you down. Not that that's a bad thing. You as the singer get to decide what you want your listeners to experience, and that's what she decided. But in this case, it's a lighter delivery. So this is an album that I feel like you could listen to in so many different situations, but then when you listen to the lyrics, it conveys something completely different, which is so special, and I think it takes a strong songwriter to be able to do that. That all being said, when it comes to what I think of the album, I'm not sure I finished the album truly understand what Euro country actually means beyond the fact that this is a country album rooted in Irish culture and Irish history. And I feel like that's something that's more emblematic of who CMAT is as an artist rather than a statement that the album is making. Does that make sense? I'm not sure what the message of the album is. And it's possible that it's not meant to have one, However, that does make this collection of songs fail to form a full project in my eyes, because I don't necessarily have as much to tie the songs together beyond CMAT's own artistic identity. The fact that CMAT was the one who made the songs. And if anything, for that, this would be a really good like autobiographical album. Like if this were called CMAT, then I'd get it. But I think there's still something there that I'm missing in terms of context. Some history, some understanding of what Euro country means. Maybe if you're watching this and you're from Europe, or you're Irish, right? Or you know CMAT better than I do, you might know exactly what she meant by Euro country. Euro country. But for me, I don't. And I think that missing context kind of kept me from fully connecting with the album as a fully cohesive project. That all being said, I did, however, leave this project feeling like I have a much better idea of who CMAT is as an artist. And while I don't think that this was like the best album that I've heard this year by a long shot, we've had a lot of really great music this year, I think CMAT has a huge amount of potential. From my understanding, this is only her third album, In my opinion, I think there's more for me to discover in terms of her discography with those 2 albums, to see what she was cooking there, and some of the songs that I've heard already of CMAT are on her previous albums, right? But there's more for me to discover. But I also think that she has like the building blocks of an icon. I feel like, I mean, she's got the voice, she's got the writing, she, you know, she hasn't necessarily like hit it big, and yet she's so confident in who she is, and the style of music she's pursuing, and the way she shares her identity, and the way she tells her story, all those stylistic elements of what make up CMAT as an artist. She seems so well nestled and confident in those things. And it just makes me so much more excited to see what she makes next. I mean, Your Country came out in 2025, so we're probably, you know, maybe a couple years away from what would be next for CMAT. But I think, especially since she's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and, you know, with the way I discovered CMAT, I think a lot of people probably discovered CMAT the same way. You know, Olivia sort of posting that cover. And so I think with all of that, I'm excited for her to come back. I'm excited for her to be better appreciated for the music that she's producing. And yeah, I think even though I didn't come out of this album being like, wow, this is album of the year, it did make me really, really excited to have a new artist to listen to. And while we wait for what's next for CMAT, I think it would be fun to go back to her previous projects to see how she got to where this is. I haven't decided yet whether or not that's going to be something that I'm going to record. If that's something you're interested in, definitely comment down below. But you know, if it doesn't seem like this is something that people are really interested in, I might just do it on my own time and kind of listen to it offline and make that my own personal thing. But that was the listen to the album. If you enjoy this video, make sure you throw it a like. If you want to see more like this, make sure you subscribe. And comment down below if you would be interested in, you know, having that journey together of, you know, going through her discography, or if there's other artists you're really interested in who you'd love to share, please share that in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the wait. This is later than I usually release the videos. But yeah, other than that, have a good night.